Welcome to the PJ Finance Show.
Today we will talk about fiscal policy. Phoebe, I'm bored. Let's have a debate for fun.
A debate? I can't think of a topic. How about a discussion?
Of course. Let me think. I know we have mentioned fiscal policy a few times before. How about we discuss more about it?
Sure. I'll start with a simple concept. The government has no money. They are a group of people that have been given responsibilities and the power to guide the country, taking money and spending it for the benefit of the society.
Yes. They can tax $100 from Group A and spend it on Group B. However, Group A might be unhappy, so the government can only take $80 but still need to give $100 to Group B.
In this case, they will borrow $20 to cover the deficit. If they keep borrowing $20 every year, the debt will increase as expected.
Who will eventually end up paying the debt?
To answer this question, we need to take a look at fiscal policy, which will tell us how taxes are implemented for people like Group A, as well as how the government spends the money.
I guess it will also tell us more about the deficit in many countries, including how to pay back this debt. From this chart, I can see that the countries are rated differently, like Qatar, which is AA-, and Kingdom of Saudi Arabia at grade A. They pay lower interest rates compared to countries that are rated B and B-.
I also found some charts from different countries as examples. As shown here, the Brazilian government has a budget deficit, which means they spend more than they receive in tax. The gross debt to GDP rose from about 50% in 2012 to 75% in 2020.
India has also been running a budget deficit. If we compare the total government debt to GDP, it is at about 70%, which is slightly less than Brazil.
As for Saudi Arabia, there are some years of budget surplus. They were paying down the debt, which was about 100% in the year of 2000, and managed to bring it down to about 20% of GDP.
It does look better than Brazil and India. So, if the fiscal deficit is bad, does that make the fiscal surplus good?
It depends. Fiscal surplus is where government spending is less than taxes. If we focus on the left part of the equation, we might be thinking that the government should spend more on education, infrastructure, defense, and strengthening the legal system. However, if we look at the right part of the equation, then we might be saying that the taxes are too high.
What happened to the accumulated surplus?
The common answer would be the government is saving this for a rainy day. Perhaps one would gravitate towards a situation where we have a balanced budget where taxes are not too high that it generates surplus.
Now it reminds me of the case of Singapore. Singapore has run a huge fiscal surplus every year for a long time, accumulating reserves. But this comes at the cost of having too high a tax level, which arguably leads to lower consumption and lower GDP, all things being equal. So, changes were made with more government spending and less taxes and a more balanced budget starting from around 2009.
Singapore debt to GDP is rising steadily over the year to around 120%. It is a strange situation because they have a huge fiscal surplus, yet the government has borrowed more money than needed.
Well, the idea is to create a deep Singapore government bond market. So it will be easy to encourage Singapore corporate bonds to be traded.
I see. It is indeed very interesting to see that every country's approach to fiscal policy is very different.
It sure is. I will be looking forward to talking more about fiscal policy with you next time we meet. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to dinner.
Running off for food again. Anyways, enjoy your food. Thank you for watching.
This presentation on Introduction to Fiscal Policy is brought to you by the PJ Finance Show.